Assalamu alaikum, Dumilang, goeie aand, good evening. Welcome to Salam Media. This is Friday Night Live with me, Safaras Takolia ST. We welcome one and all to the program, wherever you are viewing, streaming in, and listening in via the airwaves of your platforms, be it on Facebook, YouTube, on the 88.9 FM frequencies out in Polokwane on our sister station, One Nation FM, and out in KZN as well. Wherever you are at, good day and good evening. Juma Mubarak to one and all. First things first, we give thanks to the Almighty, the Creator, the one for whom the divine rule belongs, for giving us yet another opportunity to witness the Mubarak day of Jum'ah. And we begin the program with praises and salutations upon our beloved Habib Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Having said that, hoping you had a good week. Man, it's been a long time coming. Man, I missed the studio, but anyway, yeah, so Salam Media is busy with our new studios being built, inshallah, and we are going to be having a fantastic size studio. I can't wait to get back in, man. My team behind the scenes holding it down, Sadiq and Salailo, salute to you guys there at the studio. I know you're working hard. Anyway, having said that, tonight on the program, we're going to be talking to Andrew Mcfarlane, first things first, in the Go Wild segment. Okay, now we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about crocodiles, and if you're into reptiles. Now, there's a place in the Western Cape called the Bonheur Reptiles and Adventures, and this might be something that you want to, go and have a look at. It might be a adventurous place for you if you are an adventure seeker, and if you want to get in touch and in tune with reptiles. Thereafter, at about 7:35, inshallah, tonight, I speak to Hein Jonker. Now, we're talking about if you'd like to make biking a new hobby. Well, he's the founder and chief instructor at the Motorcycle Safety Institute of South Africa, and he will give us some safety tips and some more insight about motorcycling lifestyle. And thereafter, at 8 p.m. inshallah tonight, I speak to a friend, a colleague, and somebody whom I know quite well, Floyd Zungu. He is the founder of Knights Sports Academy here in Indonesia, and he explains to us about the academy and how they plan to reignite the love for sport amongst kids, the children, the community, and how you can also get involved. Lastly, I speak to Nkosi Radebe. Right now, on the car talk segment tonight, this is massive. The seizure of cars bearing number plates from neighboring countries is unlawful. So if you've got a car with a license plate from Lesotho, Botswana, Swaziland, Mozambique, lawyer Umkosi Radebe explains why after winning the watershed case. All right. And this is something interesting to me because for a long time coming, man, there's been the import cars that I've been eyeing in the neighboring countries. And SARS actually hit a dead end in Lesotho with the whole number plate case, with the, court case. And we'll be talking to him a bit later on. First things first, we now join in Andrew Mcfarlane and we welcome him to the program.
How's it going, everyone? Thanks for having me.
Awesome stuff, man. Andrew, good evening to you and to all the viewers as well. Thanks for taking the time. It's obviously you're representing Le Bonheur Reptiles and Adventures. Now, I'd like to find out firstly, Andrew Mcfarlane, if you can give us some insight as to exactly, a bit of your background, who you are and how you got involved with reptilians.
Man, it's a long story short. I've been loving reptiles since I was very young. I grew up in a little town called Palabora up in Limpopo.
Yes, very hot place. Okay.
Very hot place. And so the reptiles like it a lot. And so since I've been young, I've been keeping reptiles. I think plus minus now, I've been keeping reptiles for about 16 years. So It's kind of been part of my life, my entire life, we'll put it that way. But yeah, I came down to the Cape to study nature conservation and ended up at Le Bonheur. And I'm now one of the animal handlers who takes care of all the reptiles we have on site here.
Okay, so having been a animal handler there now, obviously, I want to talk about some of the animals that you've got on at your premises there, and I want to talk about some of the activities. Right now, let's talk about reptilians. When did your love start off for these fancy creatures? I mean, the amazing creatures of the Almighty, the all-knowing, the all-hearing, the everlasting. What is your fondest and earliest memories and interactions with snakes and reptiles and crocodiles? I mean, a croc is a very
intimidating animal, I think you want to
well,
say.
apart from intimidating, but like when they lay in the water just with the eyes popping up like that and they're like, waiting to attack. I mean, they got tactics, right? like
yeah.
They are very tactical, very militant in their approach. What were some of your earliest and your fondest memories getting in tune and in touch with these creatures? Because, I mean, some people are, very afraid of reptiles. Some people can't handle, furry tarantulas, and they get the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
talk to me about your first encounter, man.
Look, so I must put out there that there's so many first encounters I've had, but I think what really drew them to me were two things. The first thing was how misunderstood they were. I think what you touched on there about how intelligent a crocodile actually is, you call them militant, and they really are. I don't think people realize how smart crocodiles can and are, and reptiles are as a whole. I think we often see them as this sort of group of animals that is misunderstood and should just be left alone, and that's the end of it. So my first sort of attachment to a crocodile was I would work with a crocodile in a private dam that we had. We had this big sort of fish dam, and I would feed that crocodile. And at the time, I had it because I thought, it looks like a dinosaur. It looks awesome. It's like this dragon, this monster of a creature. So I just want it because it's cool. But what happened was
Rex kind of vibe.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so but in the water.
So you were that crowd. Okay.
I was until I noticed a pattern. Where I would fish with, a lot of the listeners who fish will know something called a float. It's a little red piece of plastic that floats on top of the water. When the fish takes it, it pops under the water. And I noticed that this particular crocodile would represent the float going under with me giving him food. So what he would do is he would swim over to me, and instead of coming to me, he would first go to the float. And when the float popped under, he'd pop over to me. And at that moment, I fell in love with them because I realized that our impression of them as these big, monstrous, meat-eating, militant machines is wrong. And they're actually smarter than what they let you believe, but they don't want you to think that, because if you think that, you're not going to go anywhere near them, and they won't have a chance at you. They are the ultimate ambush predator. And on getting to know them, I started to learn how important they are to our ecosystems. For instance, did you know, man, that the Nile crocodile is the second biggest inland carnivore on the planet?
No way. I'm gonna check the stat out.
1,090 kilograms is the record. 1 ton.
Whoa, man.
But we don't think about that. We always hear about a lion. The biggest lion was close to 400 kilograms, and the biggest crocodile is 1 ton in weight. Isn't it amazing that very few people know that and how much there is to them?
It's amazing to note that obviously these creatures, being carnivores, and, they have the ability and capability to both be, land and water capable. So they have that advantage as well. But I mean, the lion has stamped himself as the king, the alpha of the jungle.
Exactly.
But having said that, I'm looking at Bonheur and your Crocodile Tour. Now, when I was much younger, I went on, I think it was towards Boshoek side. I went to one of these farms there, and they had like a breeding farm. So they had like about 40 or 50 of these crocs, man. And they got like this big square thing, and they're like throwing some meat, and like, you just say, it's kind of like, like piranhas, man. No, I'm like, for real, man. Like, this stuff's hectic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo. Next thing, the water from being muddy is just all red, and then it's just silent again. And they're like, I ate myself to a fill. Yeah, just let me have a burp in the corner here. You stay there.
I'm gonna take a nap in the sun. Yeah, that is very much
like, casually crawl up, wag his tail with a thick contour of his body, and then now with your crocodile tours and your expert guides, it's obviously a captive bred basque, I would say, right? Now, how many crocs would you have, ranging from hatchlings to the adult crocs, at your captive breed basque?
Okay, so in total, our basque houses 323 crocodilians. So that's including 3 species. We have American alligators, but we've only got a few of those. We have slender-snouted crocodiles from North Africa, and then the majority of our crocodiles are Nile crocodiles. In total, on the tour, you will see 272 adult crocodiles.
So hang on a second. You've got Nile crocodile. You've got the snouted So I thought, okay. So now, why the interest for the Nile crocodile? Is it because of the Nile River and obviously creating diverse? How do these animals, interact? I mean, one is a North African croc, and one being a South African croc. I mean, do they have a bit of like this, you on my turf kind of thing? Because you do know that obviously when animals interact, I mean, I've seen this, and I've had the privilege of going on safaris to the guys out in Madikwe. You know who you are. That's out in the Northwest province. And it was a fantastic experience, and I learned a lot. They become very dominant and territorial. So how do they all, how do they?
Right.
It's fascinating as predators in their own underwater environment. Kind of behave while you standing there in the viewing cabin. You're like, oh, you look so cute. How do they?
So how it works is you cannot mix those together. If I mix those together, I will end up with what you experience. I'll end up with a feeding show. I'll have some getting eaten and some disappearing. Crocs are very much into their own what we call ecological niches. A crocodile does what he does perfectly, and another species will do what he does perfectly. So why I have different species, I've got them in separate enclosures, is to teach people that there's actually 25 currently known types of crocodile in the world. We always thought there were 23. We found some new ones recently. There's 25 known in the world, and people don't know them. So what I want to show people is what makes each of them special. The focus on the Nile.
Enlighten us. Yeah,
exactly. And the focus on the Nile is because Nile crocodile is not just from Egypt. He's found through 26 African countries, and he's the only one in South Africa. He's the biggest of all the ones in Africa, and he's the second biggest in the world. The only one that tops him is the Australian saltwater crocodile. And yet the Nile crocodile is one of the least known about the crocodiles to us.
The outback and the Amazon is like just two separate entities, areas that are like no-go zone for me, because like, man, I've seen a tarantula the size of like almost the size of my backdrop here, man. I mean, dude, no, it's like hectic, man. And I was like, do these things actually exist? This is out in like Perth now, Western Australia side, and I'm like, damn, this is hectic, man.
I have to tell you that Nile crocodile every year eats more than 400 people. Hey, right where you are in South Africa, you're sitting with the world's biggest man-eater on your doorstep. It's all about advertising at the end of the day. We don't talk enough about how incredible our animals are. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys, is that what's important about Le Bonheur is we're going to take you closer to these animals that we have right with us that are as impressive as anything you can see overseas. And we're going to help you to get a better relationship with our top predator. Because we kind of just go, it's just a crocodile, and we know nothing about it. And you really do need to spend a lot of time with them. And that's our job, is to spend the time with them and then bring it to you.
Enlighten people to learn more about Africa's largest reptile, but you might get a chance to view these fascinating predators underwater, right? Now talk to us about your crocodile tours. How many tours do you have per day? Because I want to go about your activities with regards to these crocs, and then I also want to talk about your bass and your fishing and your waterside stays, but we'll get to that in a sec. So how many crocodile tours do you have daily, or are there bookings required for these, and how does it work at Le Bonheur Adventures?
Oh, no, it's very simple. There's no bookings required. How it works with the reptile side is we run crocodile tours from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening. I do the tours every 45 minutes. So you can walk in at any time during our opening times, and you'll be thrown into the next running crocodile tour. The tour itself takes about half an hour to 45 minutes, and then we teach you everything you need to know about Nile crocodile. We take you out, we walk you on these big walkways above our crocs, and you can then see 272 crocodiles.
Like, you do realize I'm feeling a bit intimidated right now. You're like, just like, you will be thrown into like just a crocodile tour adventure. Like,
no, you're put straight into a crocodile tour. But don't worry, no.
I can see the kind of voice like rubbed off on you quite a bit, my man.
Oh yeah.
Just throw them in. Look, it's just another batch. Just some more humans. It's fine. Let's put them in.
Look. The whole idea is that when you're on the crocodile tour, we're going to be there to take care of you guys. We do a safety talk in the media room. We sit you down. We teach you basically what you're going to be experiencing. And then we tell you how to be safe. And then you will go with either myself or one of our other experienced guides. And we're going to take you out personally. And we're going to take you for that time to teach you about these crocodiles. That's not the scary part. The scary part is when I put you in the water with them. which I'm sure you're going to be interested in just now.
Yeah, now I'm looking at some of the offerings you've got. I mean, you've got a sunset croc pond tour that would be maybe a bit more ambiance for the couples and families, whatever the
Oh
case
yeah,
may
it's
be.
beautiful. You have a nice
I'm
sundowner with our
sure.
crocs.
I'm sure. Now, I see also you've got exhibits about snakes and shows, right? And then you've got
Yes.
your indoor self-guided snakes in transit.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about some of these snakes that you have on offer there. But before we get to that in a sec, right? The
Yes.
crocodile cage diving thing here, right? Where
Oh
you just
yes.
get thrown in. What's the duration of this? Is it similar to like shark diving, like shark cage diving? Where you,
I didn't know. It's nothing like shark cage diving. So the crocodile cage dive is for those people that really want to get to know a crocodile in his element. What I do is you join me, we do a safety talk, and I'm going to put you in the water with Le Bonheur's most aggressive and biggest crocodiles. We have our largest crocodile in there named Ratanga. He's a 4.2 meter, 500 kilogram crocodile. And what I do is you go into a steadfast cage. The cage doesn't shift or move at all, so that you can head into the cage. The cage doesn't lower. Your head can stay above water. You never have to get your hair wet. And while you're there, I feed this crocodile 2 centimeters away from your face. And I show you what it's like to have the top predator of Africa trying to get into a cage with you. Luckily for you guys, it's the strongest cage in Southern Africa. There is no way that that crocodile is entering that cage in any capacity. It's 100% safe.
Make sure when I come there, the cage is fully enforced. It's hinged. It's got tech weld. I don't care what, because
I'm so sure I'll go in with you. I'll go in right there next to you. There is no way you're in any danger, but it allows you to get that perspective of being in the water with an animal that is dangerous, being able to see how they interact. Because from above, you're basically watching them as they recharge, as they build up the energy to hunt. When you're in the water with them, you're with them while they're hunting. And so the crocodile cage dive isn't for everyone, but it's for anyone who's brave enough to do it. We currently have no age limits. Anyone can do it. And if you're brave enough, you can spend half an hour in the water with the King of Africa, but you have to be brave enough to do it.
Now, you obviously got them in the element and how they're behaving in their natural habitat, right? I mean, obviously, these are apex predators in ambush. So basically, there'd be like, what, 4 or 5 of them would just rock up. Firstly, you'd be looking at one, and then next thing you got like 4 or 5 of them coming around you at the same time.
Yes.
Because obviously, that's an ambush. I mean, is it how?
What would normally happen is one will be in front of you. You'll be focusing on the one, and he'll be stalking under the water at you. And then before you know it, out of your right-hand view, a crocodile will be hitting the cage and trying to grab you. The one that you never even saw was there will be there. From there, what they're going to do is they're going to be feeding using a rope system. So that gives the crocodiles a bit of fun. So when they grab the meat, they feel like they actually have to drag it under. The way they would take big prey under. So then you get to actually feel the power of this animal as he kicks against the cage and shakes his head. This is the day dive, though. We also do, if you pre-book with us, at certain times of year, you can do night dives with us, where I'll take you out in the dark. And then you can do exactly what we just discussed, but in the dark with floodlights and a spotlight. That, though, is our terrifying option. We've got the scary option and we got the terrifying option.
I'm sure this is definitely terrifying. I mean, as much as load shedding is already terrifying. I mean, I don't think that's
exactly. No, we should call it the load shedding option.
Okay, let's just be load shed. I'll just chill with the dude Ratanga onto my side. Hey, yo, what's up?
yeah. How's it going,
I'm sure
man?
they behave differently, like within now. Now, explain to us the difference, right? You've got obviously within the element, right? Daytime behavior and nighttime behavior. What are the differences between these crocs? I mean, and that you've noticed, what works them up, or what makes them so, crockery, as I could say.
So during the day, crocs are exposed. Although they are very good at hiding, they still need to pretend to be a piece of wood. They need to do their best to make you comfortable, because if they push it, you'll stop using that water source. They want you to feel comfortable with them. So during the day, although they've got all that power, all that energy, they're not really going to be using it. During the night, what's going to happen is it gets dark. They have they're the biggest predator with a cat's eye pupil. So they've got that thin, long slit pupil like your typical house cat has, and that allows them to see in the dark. They see 10 times better than a human at night. So what they're going to do is they're going to go into the water and they're going to unleash all of what they can do. These animals can swim 47 kilometers an hour. You never get to see that unless they're not shy to show you. And they're not shy to show you
Whoa.
when nobody can see what we're doing. So we may as well show
Ah.
you. And so that's why the night dive is so much more intimidating. You end up with more crocodiles at the cage. You end up with them almost taking off the facade, going, all right, we're done looking like a piece of wood. Let's show you what we are. And that's what makes it really good. You're looking excited, man. You're going to come join me for this cage dive, I see.
No, I'm definitely going to, but I'm going to make sure that the cage is sturdy as can be. Even if I'm going to tack weld that thing, I'll bring my own welding rods. But anyway.
Well, you can actually check it out on YouTube if you want to see it. We've got a YouTube video.
I was looking at the video firstly. That's why I'm talking about this thing because, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll get to that in a moment. Now, you offer fishing, rowing, cycling. What are the other activities that are on offer at Bonheur Adventures?
All right, so you've basically covered them. It's fishing. We've got bass fishing in our dam at the front, and we also have a small fishing introduction. At different times of year, the dam can be better or worse for fishing, and so I really like using the dam to teach people how to fish. I'm a very passionate fisherman myself, so for a small charge, we'll take a family group and I'll show you how to fish and hopefully catch your first fish. But you can also come out and spend the day by the dam. The idea is, oh, by the way, there's no crocodiles in the dam. Every morning I count the ducks. If a duck's missing, I know I've got a problem.
Okay.
So you guys have nothing to worry about.
What I want to ask, when you offer the, fishing training, whatever the case is, I see you offer bass fishing, and you've got maybe a farm of bass fishing, because I really enjoy bass fishing. I find them very aggressive, when it comes to the catch, and that's what gets me going, right? And I see you got a bit about, a rowboat, so that offers bass fishing with a view, right? And what are your other activities there? Do you offer paddling apart from the rowing there? And do you offer what else?
We have a stand-up paddleboard as well that comes out on the weekend. So on the weekends, you can come do some rowboating. You can do some stand-up paddleboarding. We also have croquet on our lawns. It's a lovely little lawn game you can play.
Okay. Andrew, is there a charge for each of the activities that are on the site, or do you pay like a once-off everything? Is it all-inclusive? How does your offerings work in your payment structure? How it
works is there's no entrance fee. If you want to just come through and take a look at our beautiful view and maybe grab a drink from the restaurant, you're welcome to come and do that. There's no fee at the gate. What activity you decide to do will depend on you, and then that activity will have a charge attached to it. So should you want to do fishing, there'll be a charge for it. Should you want to do a picnic on the lawn, there'll be a charge for it. And should you want to do a crocodile tour or a cage dive, there will be separate charges for each of those. It gives you different options. Otherwise, you kind of feel set to like try and do everything. I don't want to force you to feel like you have to do everything in one day. The idea is for you to come here and relax. If you never want to see a reptile, you never have to see a reptile. If you want to spend the whole day only with reptiles, you could spend the whole day only with reptiles. The idea is for you to come and just enjoy yourself and get away from South Africa for a bit. Just have some time out with us. That's our idea here.
Now, I want to talk about your eat and play. I see you got bring and buy your own meal. Obviously, a lot of Muslim people would be coming through, I'm sure, catering for the halal facilities and for non-alcoholic people, etc. So you've got basically a waterside braai. What is it, like a spot on the water side next to your dam, and you put up a braai? And do you provide cutleries and glasswares, or do people need to bring their own? How does it work?
So we do have this beautiful braai area that's situated literally right on the water. If you go onto our website, you'll see some beautiful pictures of it. But what we do is we have different options. So if you want to bring your own cutlery, you're welcome to. But if you want to get from us, you book ahead. You can send us an email, and then we do provide cutlery and crockery. If you want, so there's a lot of different. There's also a corkage fee. If anybody else is coming through that wants to use that facility, they're welcome to, but they have to pay the corkage fee first. Should they not want to, they don't have to. We have an on-site restaurant, so they can get any of their meals from there, or you can bring your own stuff on site to braai there. It's up to you guys, is really what I'm saying. It all depends how you book it. If you go online, you can go onto our website and find our email, and you can book it from there.
Now, I see you also got a picnic on the lawn, so that would be something very nice, very tranquil, very relaxed. As you say, get away from South Africa, right? Now, we usher towards, obviously, the summer period now, where your warm water, especially for your crocs and your cage diving tours, are the ideal peak season. What are some of the ramifications that the lockdowns and COVID has had with regards to your offerings and at your adventure resort?
Well, as you can imagine, I go through about 15 tons of meat in a year. That's not cheap for anybody to be able to go through for. So our facility isn't funded in any other way except for the activities that we provide. People coming through to learn about our crocodiles help to fund us taking care of these animals. With COVID and with lockdown, we were experiencing a total shutdown on all our income groups. We didn't have anyone coming through. We just had to work on what we'd saved up in case of an emergency like this. So unfortunately, it was tough. It was tough, but I have to say that the locals in the area have seriously supported us. Coming out of it, the second they could get back into it, our regulars were there, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of our locals and the people who've been coming through. I really feel like they've helped pull us through big time. But yes, it was a really tough time on all of our sides, whether it was from the restaurant side or from the reptile side. It was tough, but yeah, we've come through and we've grown is the thing. We've created new facilities along the way. If you have a moment, I'll tell you about the snake exhibit we've just created. We've created a big pit outside that's going to allow me to do a very special snake show in December. On the 26th of December, I'm going to be working with a colleague of mine, handling the 12 most deadly snakes of South Africa for a big show called Africa's Deadliest. And you guys can actually book it online already. And we created that. Okay. Literally, we've just created that. The idea was to continue growing even through everything that's happening, was to not let everything hold us back, but to keep going, to give back to the people that have been helping us. We didn't want to stay stagnant. We want you guys to have something to look at every time you come through.
Sure. Now, in very briefly, right, as we obviously drawing towards a close for this segment, though, you say obviously you've got 11 daily crocodile tours. No bookings are required. However, you feed crocodiles between 11 a.m. and about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I also see you've got a store where you can obviously where people can pride themselves with your quality of your crocodile leather products. I'm interested in that. So you've got expert belts and wallets, etc. Some work of arts. Okay, well, anyway, I'll send you my location, and then you can just, anyway, I don't want to meet with Ratanga. I mean, like, I give not Ratanga himself. Anyway, having said that, you guys are based out in Paarl, right? So people coming out now for holiday season, the Gautengelingers and many other, high felt crowd, etc. Are going to be coming out. Perhaps they could come and view your place. Guys, it's Bonheur Adventures, and it's also on our website right now. It's on the stream, as you can see right here below. I'm speaking to Andrew Mcfarlane, who's one of the handlers there at the premises. Andrew, if you can just provide us your contact details for people who'd like to make bookings or, have a chat with regards to you guys about how to get to your place and, with regards to your cage diving experiences and your kids' party packages, etc., or maybe school visits. Can you share your links and your contact details, please?
Sure, no problem. It's very simple. I think the best way to get it is just to head onto our website. It's lebonhereadventures.co.za. If they look that up, they will find on there everything, all of our different packages, and on there is also our WhatsApp number. Please feel free to contact us at any time. We'll get back to you. And our email address is info@lebonhereadventures.co.za. But that's also on the website. So it's much easier just to go through the website and you can directly book from there. I think that's the easiest way.
And it's Bonheur with the H-E-U-R at the end.
H-E-U-R.
H-E-U-R Adventures. Awesome stuff, man. Andrew, it's been fantastic chatting with you. Guys, if you are going towards the Western Cape area, go and visit them out. Go and check out Bonheur Adventures. There's so much on offer, man. It looks so adventurous. I actually feel like booking a flight, but anyway, I'm going to be here.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
It's awesome, man, and looking forward to meeting with you soon, man. Until we chat again, Andrew, take care. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks so much.
Ciao, man. Well, that's Andrew Mcfarlane, and we've been talking about reptiles, crocodiles, snakes, and adventures, and what they offer with regards to these fantastic features as well. They've also got a select halal menu for those who are interested as well, as Andrew mentioned. And you can also spend about 20 minutes in a crocodile cage diving experience. And you can view the rates, obviously, and you can make a booking with regards to that. Having said that, obviously, the charges are basically 100 Rand for an adult. And yeah, that's for obviously the reptile combo tour. And the snake show ranging around about 90 rands for people under the age of 18. But you can contact Andrew and his team, and yeah, you can make bookings and arrangements. Having said that, it's now 7:30 on the dot. Time for an ad break. When we come back, I'm going to be speaking to, in the car talk segment, coming up next in a moment or so, rather, which is part one. I'm going to be speaking to Hein. And Hein obviously is a Jonker, who is the founder of the MSI, the Motorcycles Safety Institute of South Africa, which is a leading organization. And we're going to be talking about advanced and skilled rider courses, how to get involved with this motorcycling, and if it's for you, or everything you need to know about joining a motorcycling club. There and more are still to come, so stay tuned to Salam Media, and I'll be back in a few.